Nobody runs an option play like a black quarterback. And so today we're going to focus on is the evolution of black quarterbacks. It's really interesting. Think about NFL, professional football, and you see quite a few African-American quarterbacks. However, in the 1960s, 1970s, they were rare. In 1950s, 1940s, they're unheard of, even though we did have one back in the 1920s, Fritz Pollard. Anyway, so that's what we're going to focus on today, African-American quarterbacks. Okay, the first one we're talking about Fritz Pollard. Fritz Pollard in the 1920s, he was also not only the first black quarterback, he was the first black head coach. Okay, and one of the things I like about professional sports in general is about skills and ability. Okay, when you see skills and ability, you see the makeup of different institutions different. Okay, so first I want to show this first video.
You ever notice how football sells unity every Sunday, but was built on segregation every day before that? Like the same league that preaches inspired change used to literally ban black players. Not unofficially, not quietly, but deliberately. That's the part the NFL doesn't like to replay. Because football might be America's favorite sport, but it's also one of its most American stories, built on race, profit, and power. When professional football started in the early 1900s, there were only a handful of black players, men like Fritz Pollard and Bobby Marshall. Pollard was so good they couldn't ignore him. The first black head coach in NFL history back in 1921. But by 1933, that all changed. Team owners, led by Washington's George Preston Marshall, quietly agreed to ban black players from the league. No rules written down, just racism enforced by a handshake. And for 12 years, not a single black player was allowed to suit up. They called it maintaining the image of the game, but what they meant was keep it white for the fans. The ban didn't end until 1946, a year before Jackie Robinson integrated baseball. That's when the Los Angeles Rams wanted to use the city's public stadium. And black journalists and activists said, not unless you integrate. That pressure forced the Rams to sign Kenny Washington and Woody Strode, both UCLA legends who had been shut out of the league for a decade. And just like that, football had its integration moment. But it wasn't progress out of conscience. It was progress out of pressure. And that became the NFL's pattern. Even after the ban ended, discrimination didn't. Black players could play, but not lead. They were steered away from the thinking positions like a quarterback or a coach. Scouts called them natural athletes, but never strategic minds. In the 1970s, black players dominated the field, but team ownership stayed nearly 100% white. In the 1980s and 90s, every black quarterback was treated like a social experiment. Doug Williams won the Super Bowl MVP in 1988, and white commentators asked how it felt to be a black quarterback. Fast forward to today. Black athletes make up about 60 to 70% of the NFL's players, but there's only a handful of black coaches and 0 black majority owners. They love our labor, they just don't trust our leadership. So yeah, football looks like unity now. End zones painted with end racism, commercials about justice and players taking a knee. But behind all that PR is a sport built on the same hierarchy that it claims to resist. From Fritz Pollard to Colin Kaepernick to Shedeur Sanders. Every era of football had its own way of punishing black excellence. First with bans, then with bias, then with silence. Because in America, even when a scoreboard says equal, the system still calls the plays.
Discouraging and trying to shut down black excellence. But the quarterback, the significance of the quarterback, people who are not real in football, Maybe the quarterback, that's the quote unquote leader of the team. Okay, and generally the Galton's myth, we talked about in some of my earlier videos, the assumption all European Americans are more intelligent than all the smartest black person is simply myth. And the quarter president of quarterbacks, particularly successful quarterbacks, basically shuts down that myth. So the first person I want to share with you is Fritz Pollard.
Fritz Pollard was a pioneer in professional football. He was the first African American to play in a major professional football game and the first African American to coach a professional football team. Pollard was born in 1902 in Washington, D.C. He was a star athlete in high school and college. After graduating from Brown University in 1924, Pollard signed with the Akron Pros of the National Football League, NFL. He played defensive back and split end for the Pros for 2 seasons. In 1926, Pollard became the head coach of the Hammond Pros, a team in the NFL's rival American Football League. He was the first African American to coach a professional football team. Pollard led the Pros to a 10-3-1 record and won the AFL championship. Pollard's coaching career was cut short by an injury in 1927. He retired from football and went on to a successful career in business. He was also a prominent figure in the civil rights movement. Pollard died in 1989 at the age of 87.
Okay, just going through the next two.
This month, as NFL training camps move into full swing, the league is filled with young, dynamic African-American quarterbacks.
Wilson breaks a tackle.
But tonight, you're going to hear the untold story of the men who paved their way, who to this day share an unbreakable bond.
My offensive line at Denver were white and from the South. Not only had they not played with a black quarterback before they got to the pros, they never played with a black player, period.
Their journey was long, humiliating.
I mean, I got death threats in different places we went.
And this is what year, Warren?
This is like 1990.
But ultimately triumphant.
Quarterback, number 17, Doug Williams.
Little boy from Zachary, Gremlin, got a chance to play in the Super Bowl.
Say the number 42 and you immediately associate it with Jackie Robinson and the struggle to break baseball's color barrier. In pro football, there is no equivalent name and number. Hard to believe, but right through the mid-1990s, the job of NFL quarterback was pretty much reserved for whites only. The widespread belief by coaches and front office personnel being a black man didn't have what it takes to command the most powerful and demanding position in sports. This month, as NFL training camps move into full swing, the league is filled with young, dynamic African-American quarterbacks named Kaepernick, Newton, Griffin, and Wilson. Tonight, you're going to hear the untold story of the men who paved their way, who to this day share an unbreakable bond. Their journey was long, humiliating, but ultimately triumphant, a 100-yard drive to history.
Here are stories that were never lost. They were buried. Not because they lacked greatness, but because they threatened the people who controlled the spotlight. And this is one of those stories. Before highlight reels, before record books, before the NFL pretended everything was fair, there was a young man from Omaha who did the impossible. Marlon Briscoe. A rookie who wasn't supposed to touch the football. A black quarterback in 1968, a time when that position was protected like a secret. A time when leadership had a color, and it wasn't his. He stepped onto the field as a long shot. He walked off as a revolution. He made broken plays look like destiny. Crowds screamed his name. Defenses feared him. Teammates trusted him. So the question becomes, if he was this good, why did the league erase him? Why did a quarterback who could change the future get pushed out of the present? And why did the NFL spend decades pretending he never existed? Before you hear what they did to him, ask yourself, what happens when a man becomes too good to be ignored, but too dangerous to be allowed? This is the story they tried to hide, and the truth they can't bury anymore. In the summer of 1968, Denver's training camp felt less like football and more like a storm waiting to explode. The Broncos were struggling, their offense crumbling, and their fans losing patience by the week. Coaches were tense, executives were desperate, and the entire franchise was searching for a miracle they didn't believe would come. Then a rookie walked in, quiet, confident, uninvited by history. Marlon Briscoe. He wasn't drafted as a quarterback. He wasn't expected to lead anything. He wasn't even supposed to try. The front office listed him as a defensive back before he even arrived. That alone should tell you everything about the NFL in 1968. Talent didn't decide your position. Skin color did. And a black man calling plays, that was unthinkable. But the moment Briscoe stepped on the field, the players noticed something the coaches didn't want to see. He moved differently. Calm eyes, fast feet, and a brain that could read a defense before anyone else even blinked.
All right, I want to make an announcement here. Call to Conscious Black History Month at the museum opens here on February 14th and goes till from 3 to 7 p.m. Okay, then goes from Saturday and Sunday all the way from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, and also call to Conscience World, actually for tickets. Okay, you want the next slide? Bring the slides up. Yeah, Marlon Briscoe. Okay, he was really interesting because as he, like a lot of your African-American quarterbacks in college, were usually moved to wide receiver. Okay, you see that over and over and over again. But you had individuals like James Harris and Doug Williams, and some of those other folks decided, well, I'm not going to, Warren Mooney decided, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play quarterback, or I'm not going to play at all.
Here are stories that were never lost. They were buried.
On the verge of victory number 200, the team about to win 12 of the next 16 championships in the all-black Southwest Athletic Conference, Robinson has a future Hall of Famer at wide receiver, Charlie Joyner, and at quarterback, another sporting pioneer to be, James Harris.
Eddie goes to Monroe, Louisiana to scout a high school game. He said, Stars, look at that long, tall boy. Looks like a stork. He's going to be my quarterback one day. Can't do anything right now, but he's going to be my quarterback.
Growing up in Monroe, Louisiana, James Harris had never played football with a white person and had hardly exchanged words with one.
We had our own community and we were separated, and you lived that way, and that's what you knew during that time, and you certainly question that, on Sundays when you go to church, and everybody's supposed to be praying to the same God, but yet, once you leave during the week, life is totally different. We were playing more than for the conference championship and to win games. We were playing for dear old grandma. We were representing something. And when you went out and played and you lost, you felt that you were letting the school down, and you felt you were letting him down.
Okay, I'll play the next one.
You had Joe Gilliam. Here's Gilliam from the pocket, firing downfield. There goes Swan, taking it at the 5, touchdown Pittsburgh.
Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam was the man. I mean, he could just flat throw it. And he did it with style. He just had unbelievable style, man.
The man who should have been the Jackie Robinson of pro football. A skinny kid with a golden arm, he grew up in a loving family and was the pride of Nashville, Tennessee. And as an All-America quarterback, Joe led TSU to consecutive small college national championships. The fans nicknamed him Jefferson Street Joe, after the main drag in Nashville's black community. Gilliam was drafted in the 11th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1972.
When he was drafted by the Steelers, everybody loved it and just hoped that he would get his chance.
Gilliam's chance would come at the expense of another Southern kid with a strong, erratic arm and a shaky hold on the starting job.
Starting quarterback then was?
Terry Bradshaw.
How did he receive you?
Well, I think it was a future shock for both of us. I had never seen a white guy, anybody, throw like Terry Bradshaw. And I'm sure that he had never seen a black guy that could throw and play like I could.
He was just really impressive. A lot of poise in the pocket, threw the football, read the coverages. I mean, he did it all.
By the start of the 1974 season, Gillum had won all 6 preseason games and the starting quarterback job, prompting Terry Bradshaw to make a request of head coach Chuck Noll.
I went in there and asked him to trade me.
Terry Bradshaw went to Chuck Noll and asked to be traded.
That's right. Well, if you would have seen him play and been in the position I was, and then the community, the Pittsburgh community, the black community, I mean, they piled in there. And there's a lot of pressure on everybody. The NFL and the league, the coaching staffs, the fans, the media, I'm quite sure that this was not something they wanted to happen. That's just putting it bluntly.
Yeah, Joe Gillum. I actually had a personal connection with him. He was the quarterback at Tennessee State my first few years when I was going to school there. One picture, the picture on this is trying to left or right, one with him holding the football. That's Coach Merritt that's with him. He's the coach of Tennessee State. And the other picture where he's in regular clothes, that's his dad with him, Joe Gillum Sr. Joe Gillum Sr. Was the defensive coach of Tennessee State at that particular time. But in terms of playing, I mean, black quarterbacks didn't play like the regular quarterbacks did. The regular quarterback expect the quarterback to stand back in the pocket and pass it or hand it off. Where black quarterbacks said run. Okay, they're danger in terms of risk, running, and also they didn't know, you never knew what they were going to do. Okay, they're unpredictable. Anyway, that's what kind of made black quarterbacks different. But according to scholars at that time, that wasn't the way quarterbacks are supposed to be. So his next individuals are kind of going along with that. Randall Cunningham and some of the others.
For his part, young Vince Evans attacked the Doomsday defense with playbook precision.
What kind of guy is that? Here's Big Evans. Came fired in the corner, gets rid of it. Ken Brown and Brown.
One setback to Williams. Evans under rush. Under pressure. Into Dallas territory. Has his first down and more. Fernandez in motion. They're going to him. No! Beyond Fernandez.
Speedy James Scott has proven his game-breaking skills over the last 3 years. But the Scott and Golden Riches were lost to injury.
7. Evans retreating out of the pocket. Gets away. Has a first down. 45. Man, he's had his time to do that. Evans going long.
Now, talking about playing with flair, make the game much more exciting. That's the result. You see a lot of African-American quarterbacks in the next one.
Cowboys jumping around on defense. Cunningham on play action looks. Now he starts to take off. He is bouncing around, now takes off to the far side. He is faking and then ducking and then cutting across the 40 to the 45, and Randall with a 10-yard gain. I don't know how he did.
Did you see that? I mean, Randall Cunningham, he was a real, kind of the real deal when it comes to quarterbacks. You want to go to the next one?
Randall Cunningham endured an NFL record 72 sacks in 1986, a punishment that would have broken most quarterbacks. Yet from this crucible emerged something extraordinary, a phoenix rising from the trenches. For 7 straight seasons, Cunningham threw for over 3,000 yards and rushed for more than 200, becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to sustain that kind of dual-threat dominance. Today, we'll explore how this unprecedented skill set reshaped the position and why, despite never reaching a Super Bowl, Cunningham's legacy might outshine players already enshrined in the Hall of Fame. To understand Randall Cunningham's impact, we need to look at what NFL quarterbacks were expected to be in the 1980s. The position came with a rigid job description: stand tall in the pocket, scan the field, and deliver the ball with precision. This wasn't just a preference, it was doctrine. Quarterbacks who strayed from this model weren't considered serious contenders for sustained success. The NFL had its quarterback mold, and teams weren't interested in breaking it. The 1980s NFL landscape featured quarterbacks who exemplified this traditional approach. Dan Marino orchestrated the Dolphins' offense with lightning-quick release and surgical accuracy, while Joe Montana commanded the 49ers with chess-master precision, both dissecting defenses from the security of their offensive lines. These pocket passers dominated headlines, MVP awards, and Super Bowl appearances, reinforcing the narrative that championship quarterbacks won games with their arms, not their legs. This thinking permeated every level of the league. Scouts evaluated college prospects primarily on arm strength, accuracy, and decision-making within the pocket. Mobility was considered a nice bonus, something that might help avoid an occasional sack, but nothing to build an offense around.
All right, you're going to show the next few of them. The thing of mobility, and that creates unpredictability, which creates openings down the field and also up the field.
Throughout a stormy career, Doug Williams had been known as both savior and sinner, a gifted but sometimes erratic talent. His warm smile and soft eyes hid the fact that nothing ever came easy for Williams, dating back to his days in Tampa, when he yearned for acceptance as a black quarterback.
A lot of people just not ready to accept the fact that a black quarterback is playing in the National Football League. And, you know, it's nothing that you could do anything about, I could do anything about. It's just that a lot of people just not ready to accept it.
Williams led the Buccaneers to the playoffs in 3 of his 5 seasons, but never got the respect he deserved.
Those kind of guys have seen a lot of things and been through some rough things and can lead you through other things.
Gibbs had coached Williams for a season in Tampa, so he appreciated his talent and tenacity and knew this backup quarterback could perform if called upon.
I've always been ready to play. I never considered myself as a backup. From an emotional standpoint, I was elated to get the opportunity to play.
You didn't play next to it. Patrick Mahomes won 3 Super Bowls. Doug Williams won his Super Bowl, and then there's Russell Wilson was the second black person to win a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson was so dynamic. One time I even saw him throw a pass to himself. That's how good he was when he was in his prime.
And it's 4th down and 3. Could be ball game. Russell takes the shotgun snap, looks. Now he's going to throw down the far sideline. Got a man out there reaching out. Touchdown! Seahawks! Russell threw it on the dime. What a throw by Russ.
Just one mistake is all it will take. We'll go down in history. Remember me for centuries. Remember me for centuries. Mama tied my teenage dreams. Now it's not sin wrong.
Patrick Mahomes, you can't talk about quarterbacks without talking about Patrick Mahomes. He won 3 Super Bowls. There's one game when Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson played for the very first time. At the end of the game, Seahawks won, of course, but at the end of the game, they exchanged jerseys. That was one of the first times I'd ever seen that with 2 professional football players. You see it all the time on soccer when 2 professional football players exchange jerseys. I mean, and they say Patrick Mahomes, he throws a football like he throw a baseball. Okay, both him and Russell Wilson were pitchers. Okay, in baseball as well. How much time do I have? I have time for 1 minute. You have time for one more? Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's been great experience with you, kind of sharing the information on black quarterbacks. Like I said before, Call to Black Conscious History Month is coming up. And it's also going to be in February, not February 14th. And also help us make better. Help us make things better. It will also kind of come up. Okay, and I'll see you again on February 10th. All right, looking forward to go out there and take on the world and pass on this information.